It's Maryanne. Welcome to another episode of The Influential Nonprofit. This is the show that helps you shift from doing the most to being the one that donors, supporters, staff, anyone you want, really board members, naturally want you to follow. We're going to get a little quantum today. Buckle up. We're going to have some fun. Of course, it's me. You know, we're always going to have fun. And one of the things I say all the time is energy is everything. And let me just help you understand. I've been working in nonprofit since for 30 years. And as a words person, I know that words shape our reality. Words are important. Our messaging is important. How we talk about the organization is important. All of those things, I've built a career on that. Yet, what is our thoughts shape our words, right? So the thoughts that we think shape our words and how we think and feel about ourselves and how we think and feel about our organization shapes our words. And when we intentionally shift our thoughts, we get better messaging, which gets better outcomes, a better reality that we actually want. But there's something even before thoughts, and that is energy. Our energy drives our thinking. Our thinking drives our words, and our words drive our outcome. For most of my career, I really focused on the words. I didn't really connect with the thoughts or the energy. And after I helped so many nonprofits really shape their messaging and their marketing, and some took to it and some didn't. And I thought, okay, I want everybody to love what they have. Why are some people, although they love it, they didn't use it, and then some just loved it and embraced it and ran with it. And it was because their energy and their thoughts supported the work. It all worked together. So for a long time, I sort of reverse engineered these principles, helping people shift their energy, develop um, develop more productive thoughts about who they were, what they wanted to put in the world, and then from there create the words and the messaging. And then uh, at one point during COVID, I said, you know what? What if I just help people develop their energy and their thoughts? And then from that place from coming, shifting their energy and developing some thinking around power, possibility, excitement, create from that place. Wouldn't that give me such a better words, which would get a better outcome? So the path for me kept backing up and up and up from out. Okay, if we want better outcomes, we get better messaging. If we want better messaging, we have to shift our thinking. We shift our thinking first. We shift our energy, and I think we want to back our way into it, but it's actually energy is everything, and it is the catalyst for everything. And if the energy isn't aligned, it just won't work. One of the phrases my coach taught me is the energy by which you create guides and determines the creation. When we create out of fear, we create more fear. When we create out of excitement, we create more excitement. And the energy is everything. And today I'm going to talk to you about how energy isn't an abstract concept, that it's an actual thing, and that it will dictate the outcomes that you get. Yet we never really talk about this and more or less understand actually how to implement it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about quantum physics and the quantum realm. I know you're like, what? Don't panic. You don't need a physics degree. I certainly do not have one. However, would love you to understand this. In quantum theory, there is a field of energy that connects everything. Remember that movie, Everywhere, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once? There's a field of energy that connects everything. You, as a leader, are influencing it all the time. We are all influencing it all the time, whether we know or not. Your thoughts, your emotions, your presence, it's all broadcasting something. And whether you're aware of it or not, people are responding to your frequency and way before they ever read your appeal or hear your pitch. They are sending out these energetic frequencies that people can pick up on. In the field, okay, in the field, there is a philosophy of study of the field, which is basically the link between the physical world and the unconscious, spiritual, energetic world. And in the field is every decision that you have made, right? And in that movie, they kind of lay this out, right? Where So I think about this all the time. Like I met my husband in the dorm. What if I had been in another dorm? What if I went to another college? Would we have ever met? Would I have a whole nother reality? Because there's just all of the decisions that are in the field, whether I go right or left, everything known, unknown, seen or unseen exists in this. And all we're doing is putting in or pulling out from the field, whether you know it or not, that you're sending these signals out into the world. And you may not be conscious that how you carry yourself, how you show up, people will remember that way longer than the words that we sweat and ache over so much. So, understanding that there's a field of energy that connects all of us and is constantly broadcasting. And I want you to just hold that and carry that with you. Because in this episode, I'm going to break down how a few key quantum principles, like the observer effect, non locality, and infinite possibility, can help you lead with more power, fundraise with less push, wouldn't that be lovely, and build deeper resonance with the people that you're here to serve. It's time to explore the field. We're going to get a little woo. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Number one, let's start this right. Energy is everything, right? Energy is everything. At the quantum level, we're vibrating fields of energy. Our thoughts, our words, our actions have frequencies and they impact others. Donors don't just respond to what we say, they respond to how we make them feel. And if you show up anxious, if you show up needy, if you show up burned out, stressed out, that frequency comes through no matter how good your pitch is. If your words and your energy aren't in alignment, people I don't say will, they probably will doubt you. In my experience, if your words and your energy aren't in alignment, people will not trust what you're saying and they won't really know why. It just won't resonate with them. So, what you want to think about doing is to consciously raise your energetic state before meetings or appeals. Breathe, visualize the outcome, shift from that I need money to I'm inviting someone into a transformation. This simple reframe can make a massive difference. You have the ability to choose the energetic state that you want to show up in. And when you do, you can also, because remember, everything is being kind of like pushed out and mixed around all the time, affect how others' energy. And you can bring them along with you. When you raise your vibe, others will come with you. And I live in St. Louis. We recently lost someone in our community who was very beloved, and his saying was, "Your tribe, your vibe attracts your tribe," and that is a quantum theory for sure. Energy is everything, and it is everywhere. Again, the energy by which you create guides and determines the creation. If you're creating out of fear, you create more fear. If you're creating out of possibility, you create more possibility. I had a call today with one of my clients. She's been having a very stressful day. And she said, I wanted to call these people today. And I said, you know what? Maybe today isn't the day that you call them. That's okay. Maybe get a good night's sleep, get yourself into a better energetic state, shift your energy tomorrow and do it tomorrow. Because even if she would try to fake it, I felt like it just wasn't going to come through. One of my word for this year is inspiration. If I'm not inspired to do it, I'm not going to do it. I want the energy, anything I do, I want to be inspired to do it because I know I can't fake it and I can't push through it. Okay, number two is the observer effect. Okay, in quantum theory, the art of observing something changes it. In quantum mechanics, the outcome, now I'm going to read this so I get it right. The outcome of a particle's behavior can change depending on whether it is being observed. So scientists would, when they study quantum theory and they're studying like cells, and the cells would behave differently when people were observing them because that energy was being transferred. I know there's a book called The Field that you could read it if you want. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so what does this have to do with anything? Where you place your attention at work and the scarcity or abundance, fear of potential affects what you experience. Focus your attention on what's working, who's showing up, and the energy you want to amplify. Your perception shapes your results, right? So the where you put your attention is what you're going to get. Right? So observing something actually changes it. I'm going to give you this is a really great example. Very, very real world example of this. Okay. I had a call with this woman. She was so lovely. The first thing she told me about herself was, I'm Maryanne, I'm a rock star. I'm like, I love you already. Let's be best friends. She had a dry erase board over her shoulder, okay, and with all of these things on it. And she said, "Let me just tell you about why." I sit down, I go, these are all the things I didn't get done today. She goes, I go home at night and I sit in my hot tub and I drink a beer and I think about all the stuff I didn't do. And I'm like, that's really interesting. And I invited her to maybe shift what she was doing. And I said, where is the list of the stuff that you got done? She's like, oh, it's in this notebook here. And I said, okay. So the first thing you told me is that you're a rock star, and I believe that. And so I think as a rock star, what I would love for you to do is to put on that whiteboard all the stuff that you got done today, because and put on the notebook all the stuff that needs to be done tomorrow. Celebrate these achievements that you've got done today, and sit in that hot tub and think about how great your day was and what a rock star you are and how much you got done. That list is going to be there. And in fact, that list is job security, hun, because if you didn't have a list, you wouldn't have a job. So by placing her attention to what she did instead of what she didn't do, right? That idea of that the abundance and her potential, she was focusing on what's working. And her perception now shapes her results. So instead of going home thinking, oh, I have so much to do, she's going like, I'm a rock star. Did you see what I got done today? So the act of observing, how we observe something actually changes the outcome of it. Very cool, right? Okay, number 3, non-locality and connection. This is one of my favorites because it's a lot to do with marketing. Particles that are separated by great distances can be instantly connected. So in quantum theory, and please don't ask me to explain this a little any more than I can, but particles that are separated by great distances can be instantly connected, like something like the butterfly effect. Okay, so one cell like over here can activate a cell a great distance from them, and that is a theory of the quantum. Let me explain this a little more, because I think for us who are really bound by Newtonian physics, which is what can be seen and observed, this may sound a little strange, but the concept is called quantum entanglement. And what it means, and I got to read from this, okay? It happens when two particles become linked in such a way that the state of one particle instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. Like one particle could be in your hand and the other one could be on the other side of a galaxy, but the changing one still affects the other immediately. This isn't a metaphor, okay? It's been observed and confirmed in physics labs. The connection between entangled particles happens faster than the speed of light, so fast Einstein famously called it spooky action at a distance. So what does this mean for you as a fundraiser, as a nonprofit leader? Well, we're not subatomic particles. The principle shows that everything is connected on a deep energetic level. And what this means for us is our thoughts, our emotions, and our intentions have reach, even if we're not physically present. That there is energy that we're sending out into the world that's mixing and colliding with other energy. Our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, our intentions are affecting others. The energy that you bring into your message, campaign, or meeting can be felt by the people receiving it on a subconscious, intuitive level. Our subconsciouses are very, very smart. There's so much knowing baked into our bodies. So the energy that you bring is going to be felt. And human to human connection can transcend distance. Hold on. Human to human connection can transcend distance. And when they're aligned through shared purpose or intention. Okay. So you can transcend time and distance when they're aligned and through shared purpose or intention. Have you ever had a friend that you hadn't seen in decades and then you get together and it was like no time had ever passed? That is kind of what we're talking about. Human to human can transcend time and distance. So, what we want is to understand that we can connect with people even when we're not present with them. And what I do, and what I invite you to consider doing, is setting a clear intention for every communication. Like you could say, I do this when I send my emails out, and I send the best of intention. Like I say, almost like a little prayer for that email that reach people and that move people and affect people. You could say something like, "May this message inspire, connect, and open doors." Then just trust the ripple effect. Trust that you're putting out what you need and that the universe and the field has your back. I think this helps you feel less alone and more empowered by your outreach. And also that you are creating from a place of power and possibility. And understand that your influence extends far beyond the room, the Zoom, the call, the newsletter. Intention and emotion have reach. So thinking about the energy that you're putting forth. I often tell people your magic can show up anywhere, but your magic can show up without you even being there. Okay. Number 4. I hope you're holding on. Okay. Um, all right. So we infinite possibility. Particles exist in multiple states until they are observed. So at any given moment, multiple realities are possible. What becomes real is what we choose to observe and believe and act on. So there are multiple realities in quantum physics, like I explained earlier, multiple realities are possible. What becomes real is what we choose to observe, believe, and act on. So we get to decide. A lot of times I say, what's a better story I can tell, but what's a better meaning I can give to this? Don't just ask what's realistic, ask what else is possible. Nonprofit leaders can break old limiting stories about donors, fundraising, staff dynamics, and what's normal for their organization. Choose to observe the version of your organization where ease, support, and abundance exist, and begin aligning actions with that vision. Right? So if you can sit up all night and think about what's going wrong, you can sit up all night and think about what's going to go right, and putting that energy and intention out there, because multiple realities are possible. What becomes real is just what we choose to make real. So if we choose to make real scarcity and stress, then there'll be scarcity and stress. If we choose to make real the version of us that's calm and confident, that has ease and support and abundance, that's what will become real. We are not separate from the field. We are co-creators in it. And quantum principles remind us you're not just reacting to the world, you are creating the world. When you lead from energy, intention, and alignment, not just effort, because I know you're giving effort every day, you're tapping into exponential power. We often just look at effort. We don't look at the co-creation, the intention, the energy, the alignment that goes behind and with that effort. In our work, and this is what I sort of want to leave you with, we often focus on strategy, logic, planning. And I get that. And you can do that. And you got that, okay? But underneath all of that is energy. It's the unspoken frequency that drives how people feel about working with you, donating to you, or following your lead. When you consciously align your internal state, not faking it, consciously doing it, thoughts, emotions, intentions with your vision and values, you don't have to push or hustle as much, or hustle as much. You don't have to push or hustle. Those are two words that are hard to say together. Push or hustle as much. You're working with the field instead of against it. I'm going to say that again. When you constantly align your internal state, your thoughts, emotions, intentions, right, with your vision and values, you don't have to push or hustle. You're working with the energy to create more of what you want. I would encourage you to, when you're thinking about these principles, one of my biggest tricks is to say things in a way that I want them, the way what I want to happen instead of what I don't want to have happen, right? Because that's putting that out into the field. Let's say, yeah, I know I don't want this to happen anymore. Yeah, I can tell you what I don't want to have happen, but what do I do want to have happen? What is the intention? What is the goal? What is the gain? And say that. It's easy to say what we don't want. Sometimes it's a little bit more of a stretch. But when we start shifting our messaging to say what we want, we're more likely to get it. So I'm going to recap really quick what this is. Number one, energy is everything. Everything is energy. It it is the foundation. It guides everything you do. The energy is off, it's all going to be off. We don't talk about it enough. We don't focus on it enough. So, and if I could say anything to you is be conscious of your energy because people will remember how you made them feel. They won't remember what you said. Second, observer effect. The act of observing something changes it. Place your attention in your work. Where you place your attention in your work will dictate your outcomes. Focus on what's working, what you want, who's showing up, and the energy you want to amplify. Your perception will shape your results. Number three, non-locality and connection, right? We are all connected by more than we realize, and your influence has reached far beyond you and your physical being. Set an intention for everything, that every communication. Make sure that you are setting the intention for what you want to have happen, how you want to make people feel, who you want to inspire, and then just trust the ripple effect. And the last is infinite possibilities. That at any given moment, multiple realities are possible. What becomes real is what we choose to observe. We're constantly putting things in and pulling things out of the field. So pull out of the field the reality that you want, and you can leave the rest. All right, I know this was a little bit crazy. It was a little bit mind-blowing. I'm even recording this at a different time than I normally do, just to like stir up some energy. Breathe into this, think about it, let it land. If you have questions, you can email me. My link is in the bio. If you want to learn how to be the most influential person that you can be, where people are flocking to you to say, how can I help you? How can I support you? What can I do for you? Then you need to come see me. If you're like this, talk about the energy and the thoughts and all of the things that I talk about, I would love to have a conversation with you. My link is in the show notes. Let's talk, and I can tell you how I work with people and how I really help amplify everything you do. And I'll see you next time on the Influential Nonprofit.